Tobias Nagley at Air and Space Forces Magazine, and I'm with J.V. Venable from the Mitchell Institute of Aerospace Studies. J.V., this week at AFA's Airspace Cyber Conference, we are, readiness was the sort of the keynote item. The secretary gave his first sort of major speech the other day, and he talked about his concerns and even surprise about the state of readiness. You've been studying this issue forever. And so let's get kind of into what is it going to take to recover Air Force readiness?
Yeah, it's a big question, Tobias. It has several different facets because readiness in itself is just one leg of the stool. You've got capacity and capability that are the other sides. And
so let's just focus, because we could be here for a week talking about all three. Just readiness.
Readiness with aircraft is a big deal. The idea that we can basically fly half of our fighter fleet and a little bit less than that on the bomber fleet right now is a significant issue, particularly when you're talking about the capacity levels that we have right now, which were all-time lows. We've got 750 combat-capable fighters right now. Half of those, or 60% of those, are ready to go to combat, ready to go to war. The other 40% are not because of spare parts and a long trail that has to be filled in order for that to happen. So in order for us to get healthy on the readiness side of the human equation, you're going to have to get those aircraft healthy as well. And so that's going to take a concerted effort. So what does that take? It takes more maintenance personnel. Last year, the Secretary of the Air Force defunded 6,000 maintainer positions and used that money to go and forward his own objectives within the Secretariat for the Air Force and for the larger scope and long-range plan. But in the immediate impact of that means we don't have those maintainers available to fix the airplane. So we need to have a robust, fully manned maintenance field, and that's going to take a while to regenerate the training from the 3 to the 5 to the 7 levels to where all of those are matrixed and ready to go.
So in the meantime, there's a discussion about kind of merging the maintenance fields and having fewer Air Force specialty codes. So, this is, in one sense, that's a way to have more people, but it does not create more experience.
Yeah, so if you're going to go in the ACE concept where you're going to actually have people playing a shell game on installations that are bare base, yeah, that's going to help out a lot there, but you still need a certain number of maintainers that cannot be in the same place at the same time. And so if you have a broke airplane and you have that same maintainer who's supposed to launch the airplane, he can't fix that while he's launching somebody else. And so it really does come down to numbers with regard to maintenance as well. And so we have to bring maintenance up to speed. The second side is they have to have parts with which to fix airplanes. And so the most expensive side of readiness as far as aircraft goes is the spare parts account. We call that weapon system sustainment. In order to bring that up to speed, you're talking about tens of billions of dollars every year, bringing that back up to a level to where...
tens of billions to catch up?
Tens of billions total. And right now we are underfunding that significantly. So what does that mean? Is if we have 100 flying hours, we're buying the spare parts for 80 to 85 hours, which automatically means you're never going to fly your flying hour program, right? And what that also means is that the number of maintainers that you've got, which is already undermanned, you're forcing them to go and cannibalize one airplane, pull a part off of it, and bring it back and basically do double maintenance in order to fix one airplane. And so the tax load on our maintainers is significant. So they need spare parts. WSS, the Weapon System Sustainment Account, has to be bolstered, and we have to bring our maintainers up to speed. And the final side is we have to increase our flying hour program. We've decremented our flying hour program every year that we don't actually fly all of the flying hours. And so every time we fly less flying hours, we fund that to an 85% level, which means we can't fly those either. And so it's a continual trough that we can't basically fill up. We actually start emptying out further. And so increasing the flying hour funding program will help us in those respects. And then, Tobias, we've got to fly a lot. And there's several things that you do when you fly a lot. One is the individual gets trained and gets to increase his tactical skill sets, but he also gets to grow in his development. So he can become a flight lead and then an instructor pilot, which we are grossly short on right now. The people who are getting healthy with flying hours or staying healthy are those that are in high demand, which are the instructors who have to fly all the time, and then the flight leads, which fly more than the wingmen. And so when we start flying more, we grow more of those people faster, those key positions. The same thing true with the 3-level maintainer. Bringing them up to a 5-level happens through a lot of maintenance reps and sets, and the same thing going to the 7-level. So the more we fly, the healthier we get across the board. That's the bottom line.
Okay, so let's say we had best of all possible worlds. Here's the money for spare parts. Here's we're going to rehire a bunch of 7-level maintainers and bring them back into the force through the Guard or in some other way. If you had the maintainers and you had the parts, is this a 1-year problem? Is this a 5-year problem?
So it's another great question. So Eddie Rickenbacker was lost at sea for 24 days. When the 7 people came off of those rafts and were brought in, they had been starving for so long that the thing you think you could do really fast is eat and catch up, but that was impossible. They have to slowly bring up their digestive process to where they could eat more and then become healthy. The same thing is true with our flying apparatus. We've been starved for so long that we can't eat flying hours and we can't eat with weapon system sustainment fast enough. We have to spin this up as rapidly as we can, which means bringing the spare parts accounts up to 100% as rapidly as we can. We could do that with internal funding today by reprogramming money. And if we did that, that would help this process. Infusing maintenance, bringing new personnel on board takes 1 to 3 years to bring a 3-level up to speed, and then 3 to 5 years to bring a 5-level up to speed. So it takes time to grow those. But you grow them faster, the more reps and sets they get by flying more. And so to answer your question, it will take 3 years to bring our flying hour program up to where if we did everything right and we got all the money that we wanted, all the spare parts, and industry could keep up with the demand for spare parts, it would take us 3 years to be able to digest that money, and we won't be healthy for another 2 years beyond that.
J.V. Venable on Readiness. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk.
Tobias, my pleasure.